Hello everyone. Today I'm talking about ChatGPT with Scala. This is a vertical topic. You may wonder why I would talk this topic. Because if everyone is talking about long-chain or semantic kernel, then someone should care about the minority groups. So that's why I'm talking about ChatGPT with Scala today. This is my introduction and the introduction of my company. We focus on three sections. The first one is the tooling. We build tools with Java or JavaFX or Svelte. And the second section is education and training. The third is the consulting. So this is a simple introduction. In the AI area, Java is so depressed, but it's still a struggle since we know several AI facilities like the Deep Learning 4G or the new GEP 438, the Vector API. But if we just want to play with the ChatGPT, these things doesn't matter because they build for the framework or facility or infrastructure. So if we just want to build some application, this thing that we don't care. So today, many people build applications with long-chain or semantic kernel, right? If we want to build some ChatGPT applications with Scala, should we turn to a long-chain or semantic kernel? Maybe not, because long-chain it offer some language bindings like the Python, the Node.js, right? And the semantic kernel just introduced the binding for Java. Yeah, then we can use this technologies, but I always think the web API is the king. Since ChatGPT offers a web API for us, then why should we just use it? It's simple, it's generic, it's easy to use, right? We don't need so many abstractions on the concept on memory, on retrieval, right? If we just need it, we just build it. So that's why I like the web API. Then what the ChatGPT web API? ChatGPT has many web APIs. The basic one is the authentication one, right? It just introduced the authentication with a barrier API token, right? If we want to build a ChatGPT application, the first thing is we just retrieve some API key or open API key, right? No matter what kind of clients, like the Chat UI or the GPT Hub, right? Many extensions and client applications need the OpenAI API key. Because they need such API key to access ChatGPT resources. ChatGPT offer the chat, the compilation, and the whisper, many things with the API. Today we just introduced the compilation API to build some simple application. So let's hands on. This is the former project. I built some ChatGPT utilities, and we can see the basic code to access the ChatGPT. Here, this is the payload of the request. It's just a basic JSON with the feature of Scala called string interpolation. We can embed the variables in the string, right? If you like, you can build some JSON string with the JSON object of vertex. Just like this one, we just pass the string into JSON object with the vertex JSON object, and then retrieve the result and the response. So this is the two way to handle the JSON request or JSON response. With the request, we can post to the OpenAI API's endpoints. Call this. The URL is configured in the settings of the application. It's here. So here it is. This is the API endpoint and this is the API key or API token. So with these settings, the header to do the authorization and the content type with application JSON and set the payload as body. Then we can call the string to execute the HTTP request. And after that, we can get the response at the body. It's just a string. If something goes wrong, the Java FX task will throw the exception, so we can catch it here and alert on the UI. And most of the time we can get the response in the JSON format, and we will pass it with JSON object from the word X. Then we can retrieve the messages and content. After that, we can append the message into the UI. Here it is. This is the question, and this is the response. It's just several lines of code of Scala, right? Less than 10 lines. If you don't like the raw HTTP client HTTP code, we can design some abstraction on the ChatGPT API. Do some Java SDK or Scala SDK for the ChatGPT. We can just create some this is just a sandbox or playground, so don't take it seriously. I will design things without the package. So this is what I think. If I want to request the OpenAI ChatGPT or API, I will submit first. I will design request which contains the model we want to use and the message on the other parameters like the temperature, right? Like the default 0. And then we can submit the request to OpenAI with some utility. After that, we can get some response, right? Some response in type safe. Since we are build some SDK, so we need everything type safe. So this is a basic thing. If user wants to use this SDK, they just call like, for example, users use API like this. And then this will return a response, right? Completion, or call it completions. Any name you would like it. So for the first thing, we want to design in a request, right? So we call it we call it completion request. So it will contain the model, right? And it will contain some messages. We can define it as an array of string, but it's too simple, right? Maybe you can enrich it later, and you can provide the temperature parameter. Let's call it float, or just some big decimal. Okay, let's set a default value. And we can define more parameters, option parameters, but it's just for demo, so I won't define it here. You can try it yourself. And if we want to give more options or give more choices for the user, we can define some abundant message, right? Abundant context or abundant messages. The message can be in a tuple. For example, this is the row and this is the message. After that, we can set up some messages. We can define it. Messages should contain messages. You can define it some array or a list of tuple, string and string. The first string is the row, and the second string is the message value. So that's it. So if we want to make it mutable, we should define some list, right? Let's say private message list and some list buffer. So the abundant would be oh, damn it. Message list abundant the new message. And after that, we can define more helper methods if you like. Then with the completion request, we should define some utilities. Let's call it ChatGPT. Okay. Then we can define the completion method called complete, and it accepts a parameter called the request and with type of completion request. And the return value will be completions. Since we are not will not define the completions. We will define it. It will accept some. You can make it accept a JSON string, or you can define it with or you can define it with some company object, and define apply with some JSON. So let's say with JSON object of vertex, then it will return the completion object. It will be completions JSON encode, right? After that, we can call some completion JSON object to create a completion object, or we can just use the completion, right? Then with that we can define more extractor. Extractor methods to help user to use the completion easily, right? So that's it. That's the basic of abstraction for the Java SDK or Scala SDK for ChatGPT. Here, then we will just call the API just like the former, right? The former code, post, and the URL. URL will be we can set on the request, or we can just add another parameter for each. And then we set other headers, right? Like the authorization or the content type. After that, we'll set the payload. The payload we'll get from the request, and request as JSON, right? we will define such helper method. So define some JSON method, and it will return a string in JSON. I will let it here. You can define yourself, just a demo, right? Then we can get a string, and after that we can get the body and return the completions. That's it. That's the basic one. So if user want to use this SDK, here it is. Just create some request, right? Set the model, for example, 3.5 turbo, right? And set the messages. And after that, we can call the ChatGPT. They're complete the URL, set up the OpenAI endpoint, and then pass the request. Come on. response. The response will be the type of completion, right? Then we will handle the response. We will handle or process the completion, right? That's what you can do anything with it. So that's it. This is the basic Java or Scala SDK for ChatGPT. It's easy to use, right? If you want, make it as strong and consolidate, we will catch some exception handling, right? We will do some catch and to handle the exception properly. So that's it. Hope you can get what I mean. Last but not least, I think if you want to build some application with the ChatGPT, the first thing is I think the ChatGPT is top on large language models. So no matter what, like the BART, the ChatGLM from the Tsinghua University, right? It's good at Chinese, but still not better than ChatGPT. So if you want to build some application, my advice is to choose the top. That's the ChatGPT. The second is if we want to build something, we should know ourselves better, because if we can't build some infrastructure, we should build something we can do, right? The application of the innovation on the application scenarios is also deserves. So that's my advice. If we can't build a company on large language model, then we can build some company on the applications. So that's it. That's for today.
You are victorious.
If you have any questions, just comment on below. This is my Twitter. If you are interested, just follow me on the Twitter. Thank you very much.